One of the most significant lessons that I learned, and it took me a long time to learn it, was I couldn't accept weaknesses. And I believed the lie that if I could just turn my weaknesses into strengths, then God could really use me. Then I could really be effective. And so I would see weaknesses in my life, shortcomings, failures, and I would condemn myself and beat myself up. And I would spend way too much time feeling guilty for it, that I wasn't doing enough. And took such responsibility upon myself. So my leadership was limited because I believe God could only use perfected leaders. And significant turning point in my life when I began to realize God is going to use me not because of who I am in Roger Hershey, but because of who I am in Christ. And that God is actually pleased to take not only the strengths that He's given me, but even my weaknesses. You know, that we have weaknesses by God's design, the thorn in the flesh passage, that where the Lord tells Paul, my grace is sufficient for you, power is perfected in weakness, to use those two to accomplish His purposes. And I remember the day I knelt beside my bed, and I had a piece of paper in front of me, and I listed the strengths I knew God had given me, and I listed my weaknesses. And for the first time in my life, I knelt by that bed and I thanked the Lord not only for the strengths, but I thanked Him for the weaknesses. And I said, Lord, you may change some of these things, but a couple of these may never change. And so I'm going to, like Paul, be well content with weakness, because your grace is sufficient, your power is perfected in weakness. And I was starting to learn who I am in Christ. And the lesson that God uses us, on the basis of grace, because we're earthen vessels, clay pots. We got cracks in our pot. We're a bunch of crackpots. And God is going to complete His purposes apart from me, and I need to relax and say, the Lord's going to get it done. And you can rest in His sovereignty. Revelation 5, 9, and 10, every people, tribe, and tongue and nation is going to come to pass, and God uses us by grace. But it took me a long time to really accept that. Even after 41 years, I'll still see weakness in my life and get down on myself and condemn myself and believe that I'm not qualified to serve the Lord because I don't have it all together yet. To accept the fact that we don't have to have it all together for the Lord to use us. So that's a major lesson that has kept me going in the ministry all these years.